Hey, everybody. Welcome to our new leader coffee talk. This is Allison coming at you. We're here with our community leadership team, and we do have a guest speaker this evening. We're going to be covering tonight everything you ever needed to know, wanted to know, wish you knew about the volunteer toolkit. And so we're going to go over all the specifics, going to give you some demonstrations on where to find some really great information. And then we will have this recorded and posted up on Facebook later this evening or tomorrow. So if you're not able to join us tonight, that's cool. You can still get caught up on all of the VTK goodness. So let's go ahead and get started. A VTK masterclass. So as I said, we've got our leadership team here with us tonight. It's myself, Allison Prophet, and I've got Lori Ballum and Alicia Webster with us as well. And our guest speaker tonight is Miss Crystal Johnson. She is troop leader for 118031. What level girls do you have in your troop, Crystal?
Third year cadets.
Third year cadets. Oh, I've got first year cadets, so I'm going to be picking your brain for a lot of good advice moving forward too. So Crystal is our VTK expert, so she can help us navigate all the cool ins and outs of using the VTK, and then also just some really good tips for how to maximize it for use for your troop, so you can plan out your meetings and get some really great information. So our goals tonight, we're going to go over the volunteer toolkit. So some of the specifics that we'll talk about are how you can manage your troop, do some year planning, manage your communications. You can do some record keeping, and then we'll do a brief touch on some financials. We're going to get into a lot more about financials closer to March because your year-end financials are due at the end of May. So we'll show you how to do all of those step by step around that time. But we'll give a brief touch on where they're located in the VTK, so that way you can kind of understand why the link is there. In addition to that, we're going to look at the GS Learn resources that are also available, including what videos would be applicable on there, and then how it can complement what you're going to be gaining by using the VTK. So where do you find the VTK? Everyone's talking about the volunteer toolkit. Where can I find that? So all you need to use is your Chrome browser, and I'll go ahead and log into my GS as you would normally on your Girl Scout website, and that's the gssjc.org website. And then you click on My Account. So when you log in with your credentials, you'll get into your main screen for your troop account. Once you've logged into your troop account, there on the left-hand side in the option bar, you're going to see my household, my troop, my profile, and then all the way down there is volunteer toolkit. When you click on that, that's where you can open up to find all of these really fantastic resources. Now, keep in mind that you have to be the role of a troop leader or troop treasurer in order to have admin rights into the volunteer toolkit. So just keep that in mind. If you have an access issue, you need to have one of those roles declared on your register or on your membership with council. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and take a peek into the VTK. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to hand it on over to Crystal.
All right, and I'm going to share my screen when you give me rights, please, Allison.
And there we go. See if you can do it now.
There we go. All right, so I have a little slideshow as well. See if I can make this bigger. And it just kind of breaks down what you can do on the volunteer toolkit, which is kind of what Allison briefly went over as well. You can, if you choose, plan your troops calendar year on there, see the rosters, email families, badges, awards, things like that. You can explore meeting plans and show a breakdown for the meeting, so you can kind of plan out each meeting throughout the year. How many meetings do you want to work on certain badges? You can do attendance for meetings there, and also the badge and journey achievements, check off who's finished those badges and who hasn't. You can add events to the troops calendar, finances, and there's a lot of resources, and they've added some new resources. So all the parents can see the troop financial reports at the end of the year, or not. Well, I guess they can see past ones currently as well. But that way everything's transparent. Nothing's being hidden with the finances. And parents should be able to access the badges and what their daughter has accomplished in your troop. So that's just a brief little rundown of what it is. So it's not just for leaders, it's for parents as well. And then I have a couple of links, cheat sheets that you can keep handy. I'm sure I can, Allison can probably save it and put that on Facebook, or I can, along with the video. But I'm going to open the one. And so it kind of really just breaks it down, kind of what Allison had showed you earlier. Talks about managing the troop. I know I'll go through all that, but in case you forget, and some people need it written down. Some people are more visual and need to be walked through step by step. So it just kind of has everything on here. I've also included, there we go. Now keep in mind that the cheat sheet is not from our council, but it's all the same info. This is a short little video from our council about volunteer toolkit as well. So it's 3-ish minutes or so. And it also has some more information for troop leaders and parents. So now that that's taken care of, I'm going to go ahead and now I already had all that open. Hold on. My Zoom buttons are getting in the way. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and log in after I get to the right page. So I clicked log in from the Girl Scout website. Do not mind my email. It's over 20 years old. I don't care, but hold on. All right, so just like Allison said, we're going to click on my account. Once you do that, you have all the information over on the left. So this is when it first opens up, it includes all of your family information and what you as a leader are, what roles you are assigned. You can click on what troops you have access to. This is kind of, these are just pretty much what my daughter is in. So it's not necessarily just for me. It just kind of lists the troops that my daughter is in. You can access your profile if you need to renew your membership. You can access any events, search this way. I have found that I've heard on Facebook that people find it easier to not search through events this way, but to search through events through the regular website. Once you find which one you want, then you can search it here by name and it's easier that way. So just if you're having a difficult time finding events this way, that there's another way to do it. And then the volunteer toolkit. So that'll open up in a new screen. There are some new not things, but I can't think of the word right now. That
alerts.
New
information. Looks like new badges and training.
Well, it's not new badges. It's
features.
Thank you.
Features. Thank you.
Volunteer toolkit has added this year. So there's more, and it is kind of, I personally don't utilize volunteer toolkit often. It's just not for me as a teacher. I find doing my own little graphs and charts and things like that easier for me. But I do like that this new information that are new features that they've added this year, it has a lot more in one place. So instead of finding something on this website, but then on this link, and then the other things are over here, it's all right here on this website, which is nice. So try to find that. All right. So once you're in the volunteer toolkit, you have different options, different tabs on the top. So my troop, this will tell you achievements. If the troop leader has added achievements, it'll show up for my daughter here. That's my personal daughter. Then it talks about the troop and it shares their information. I can update contact information if I need to. And sorry, I was going fast. So personal information isn't out there, but you can also send email right here. Click email to the 10 contacts. So if you prefer to send emails that way, you can. The one thing I don't know, because I don't do the emails through here, is if you send the email through here, I'm not sure. I would assume it goes to your personal email that's tied to your registration as the leader. But that I am not 100% sure of.
It does, Crystal.
Okay.
It uses your personal, whatever you registered with microsites.
Perfect. That's kind of what I assumed. Again, you know, when we started our troop, it was many years ago when this wasn't, I don't even know if this was a thing back then. So we had started our own email account for the troop, and that's what we use. You can explore the different badges. So for me, it's listed, you know, it has my troop listed as a cadet. I could change it to over here. I can look at Demi Troop Leader, multi-level, where I have access to all the different badges. And I guess I still, okay, yeah. So if I want to look at other badges from other levels for whatever reason, if you have older girls who are trying to teach younger girls a badge, you can have access to the lessons by changing it to the multi-level up here. So you can scroll through, look at, this is actually, I was looking, some of the newer journeys are not, you can't buy the packets in the shop. You can't download a digital version of the packets of what the girls need to do for that journey. You have to go to the VTK for that. And so that's why I have this up here. We went camping last weekend and we were working on Think Like an Engineer badge. And so it has it has it planned by meeting. So if you were to do this in meetings, it would take 6 meetings. When you open it, it tells you every little thing. It tells you how to start the meeting. It tells you, you know, your opening ceremonies, what your challenges are, closing ceremonies. It'll list all the materials you need, the resources. It'll list any, and actually I think you can get, if you click on the meeting overview, here's everything in like a PDF form if you choose to print. I know some people need to print stuff. It will go and tell you how long this should take.
I like this too, because it gives you, if you're someone like me who's not very technical, like I wouldn't know how to speak fluently about being or thinking like an engineer, it gives you a lot of scripting of
It
words to
does.
say, especially on each of the sections. So that makes it a lot more approachable. So if you're doing a badge that maybe you're not super familiar with, this will help you with planning on how to present that.
And it does. And that, I mean, that's kind of like a good thing and a bad thing. I do wish that they, especially for the journeys that we don't have access to, I wish we had like one document that listed every step you need to do.
Yeah.
Because I do find it sometimes challenging to look through each meeting to find exactly what they need to do. But I mean, overall, and again, I'm coming from a teacher perspective, and so I plan lessons. So planning lessons is not hard for me. I know people who are not comfortable with those kind of things. This is super easy. And again, it tells you each thing. It tells you what to say. It tells you how long it should take. Sometimes it's going to take more time. Sometimes it's going to take less, but at least this kind of gets you prepared. If you look at this and say, oh, we don't really do all of these steps for our opening ceremony, then you know you can shave a little bit of time off of that. Same thing for closing ceremonies. I know that varies troop by troop, and it doesn't always take 10 minutes for the beginning or 10 minutes for the closing ceremony. Let's see. Let me go back. Now that was a meeting plan that I had already, like I said, I needed to do that and it already had it. Sorry, let me go back to here. The year plan. It already had it kind of listed for me for my custom year plan. If you don't want to customize a year plan, and I don't know if it'll let me do it with me already having one, but there are different year plans already assigned. Like if your girls are more STEM friendly or STEM motivated, they suggest badges and things that work on that. If your girls are more outdoorsy motivated, then there's badges and stuff for that as well. So they have, you can explore and kind of do your own, or you can do that. The pre-selected tracks is what I was talking about. So you can kind of look, take on the outdoors. You can preview and see. These are all the different meetings. It gives you 9 meetings. It shows you the badges you would be working on. If this is something that you're interested in, or if your girls are interested, you can do that. So if I want to select this track, it'll put it in my year plan. And then I think if you say you want that year track, but maybe you've already done the trees badge, I'm pretty sure there's a way to delete it. I know you can move them around. You know, if you don't want to do that one, then you can move it to the end. If you want to do, you know, you're going to be primitive camping, you know, in March maybe, and you need to move that up. So you are able to move it around. That's your calendar. You can set your meeting days, what time it is, if there's any holidays that you wouldn't be meeting on. And I think when you have the calendar set up like that, all the parents can see that as well. So that was that. I accidentally clicked on that earlier. You know, managing an activity. If you have an activity that's coming up, that's not one of your monthly or weekly meetings, monthly meetings, however often you do the meetings, you can add the name, the location, the cost, all the information for the parents, start time, end time. If there's a council activity, you can search for those that way and it'll add it to your calendar. Right now, I don't have any calendars to my year plan.
If you're doing an outing with your troop, you could enter it in there so it would manage it on the calendar is what you're
Correct.
saying. Okay.
Yep. I mean, that's pretty much it for the meetings. I mean, you just kind of look through the badges, see what you want. So like I said, they have the pre-selected tracks here. This one is if you don't choose a pre-selected track, maybe 30 cadets, we have done a lot of badges. So doing some of the pre-selected tracks don't always work for us, but you can search for any of the badges you want or use filters. So I would want the cadets, type of meeting plan. Let's see. Well, here, if we're just needing an award earning, like if it's a meeting about earning awards, you can click on that. If you need your closing or bridging ceremonies, it clicks on that and gives you ideas and suggestions for that.
Nice.
If we're wanting to do life skills, or even if, let's see if there's a cookie one. Oh, there it is, the cookie business. So I can view the list for that. And here's all of the badges for that. I can click those if I choose and want to add those. So I could just click any of the ones that I want. I can click and add that to my year plan. If you don't want to use the filter and you need a specific badge name, you can type it in. And it's not pulling it up.
Oh, because it's still filtering
It's
for cookies.
correct.
Yeah.
So I would have to unclick. So that's why it wasn't pulling that up.
There we go.
And then it lists all of those for you.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the 2 options to add the badges to the meeting plans. The financial tab is up here as well. That's what will be used at the end of the year to add for the finances for the troop treasurer. What I really like, and I think that this is what they kind of added to this year, is the resource tab. And this to me is what I find the most helpful, because now everything is here. Some of these used to be on the forums page. Some of these used to be on the community page. Some of these there used to be on lots of different places, and now they're all here. So, and it gives you they're by categories. I can click. It's also specific to some of these resources are specific to the level. So here's my silver award final report. Here's the silver award intent. Here's the silver award project. It's the slideshow for that. So everything that I need for cadets are right here. Down here is everything else. If we're doing trips and travel, here's all the forms and everything you need and information you need for that. So again, I think this is probably the best addition that they did for the volunteer toolkit, just because it makes it easier to find everything. I may still end up trying to find it other ways, but if I can't find it, I know I can look here and easily find it. There was even, when I was looking the other day, troop leadership, here's financial forms, just everything you need. I know they had even, if you're going camping, here's the form to request campsites right there. Here's the outdoor progression, skills, everything you need is right there. And I want to say there was even one that had, oh, here we go, like for the family hub, Girl Scout permission slip, adult emergency slip, the medical forms. And I mean, I know I'm the one, anytime I'm looking for forms, instead of going to the forms page and searching for it, I just a lot of times Google, Girl Scouts of San Jacinto Council permission slip, because it's easier to find it, faster for me to find it that way. But now this is another option where it has all the resources here. And how many people are always looking for uniform placement, badge placement right there? So like I said, I think this resource, and it has it for all of them. I think the resource tab is a really, really good addition. I also wanted to kind of bring your attention to the Badge Explorer. Pretty sure that's going to be under each tab. If you've never used that website, you should. I really like this one. So this one, I got to move some of you over first real quick. What you can do is you can kind of click on the different badges. Hold on, I've got stuff in my way. And actually, I haven't used this in a little while. There used to be, there it is. It just was going slow. You can click what level you are. So me being cadets, I'm going to click on that. If there's topics again, I can kind of click on to see what these are. This also gives you a brief summary of what each of those badges are. So it kind of tells you each of the steps for that badge. If you want, if your girls want to do all of these badges, or you can select different badges, you can create a PDF with those badges. Or maybe I only want 4 of those badges. And then it's going to create a PDF for me with all of those badges and all that information. What I do with this is I typically don't check anything. I have all of my badges. I'll create my PDF and I'll print this out. And this is kind of what I use to have my kids plan what badges they want to work on that year. Or, so I sometimes have the kids vote, the girls vote, to see what their top badges are when we switch levels. And those are the badges that I'm going to make sure we hit and target first. this year, at the beginning of this year, this being our third year as cadets, we've already kind of hit a lot of those. So I showed them what we had left, and they looked through and kind of figured out what they wanted to do this year at our meetings. So the older the girls are, I mean, even the younger girls can vote on what they want to do, but the older they are, they can start planning. Even if they don't want to plan the actual badge itself, they can plan the format of the year. What are they going to do at this meeting? What do they want to do at this meeting? And this just makes it a very easy way to let them kind of choose and vote and get a little summary of each badge. So I've always really liked the Badge Explorer. Found it very easy. And again, for me, when my girls have earned a lot of their badges, instead of creating it with all, I can click on the ones we still haven't done yet, and they can just see those few. So I think this is a great resource. And like I said, I like that it's easy right here, because honestly, we were camping this past weekend, and I was looking, talking to another leader, and I was trying to find something, and I was looking for the Badge Explorer, and I actually forgot the name of it because I hadn't used it in a little bit. And refreshing my memory on the VTK, I came across it, and I'm like, oh, I love it. It's right there. Now, if I forget, I know where I can always go to find it. So, but I think that's kind of it in a nutshell, unless you ladies can think of anything else that I missed or didn't think of.
I say that Badge Explorer is really good for the leaders that have daisies, brownies, or, daisies or brownies specifically. If they're the ones at that point where they're making most of the decisions about what the meetings are going to be, it's a really great way to review all of the badges that are available, and then just kind of pick and choose based on what their girls like, how they can plan their meetings out. So it's a good overview of what you would need to do for each of them. So that's lovely.
Yeah, but the Badge Explorer, like I said, I've
That's
always
awesome.
loved that website.
I like what you said, Crystal, about like the older girls as they get older. If you have those leaders in your group that want to lead a session, I like using it for that too. And then personally, I use it for when we have a guest speaker. Like we were looking at someone who would help us with the woodworker badge, and I just gave them a printout of that. Like, these are the 5 things they need to learn how to do to earn the badge. So they have it there and they can prepare for it as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's great. There's so many different options to do with the Badge Explorer. And it just makes it easy. You have it all right there instead of having all of the little leaflets, I guess, from your binder for all the badges that they need. It just makes it a lot easier to summarize it. And then once you kind of figure out what you're doing, then you can look at each badge individually and see exactly what the requirements are.
It also comes in super helpful when you have multiple levels. So if you have badges that are similar, you can print just the ones that you're working on across all the levels, and that way you can make sure that you're hitting on all of the points for each level. That I love printing it like that. And then I know you can't really show this. I've been anyway. The other thing, I know you really can't show it because it's your personal troops information, but in the first tab, I think it says My Troop, where you were showing that there's that email, like you can email the troop. I like opening that section, and like I said, I know you can't because the private information is there, but I like opening that section whenever I have we signed up for the riflery program, and I needed to know who was 12 and over in our troop. So when you open that tab, you can see everyone's ages real quick. You can see what schools they went to. You can see their addresses. Like, everything is right there. Whereas when you first log into my GS, that view of your whole troop, it just has very minimal information.
Yeah, and I can just go here briefly and kind of, and again, I'm going to go kind of fast, but I mean, it has their names, it does have the birthday, and if they're active, but it doesn't have the birthday.
It doesn't go into specifics like it does in there.
It doesn't have the age, where this does have the age listed, not only the birthday, but the age.
And the parent name, because sometimes I get the parent names mixed up. So
yeah.
That's another reason I like that
And I mean, like, even on this page, like, if this is something you utilize all the time, you can add a photo of your troop. I mean, you can personalize it for you. I saw
How-
that maintenance thing last night when I was like looking at it, and I was like, it maintenance on the 9th, and I was like, but it's not until midnight tonight. So
Yeah. How did you set up the email in there, or does it already load?
It's automatic.
Cool. Then you
It's
don't even
based
have to
on,
set it
yeah.
up. Okay.
So, and then you just click on it, and this is what it pulls.
So then if you want to send it to everybody,
Yeah.
you just click the troop. That way you don't have to send multiple emails. That's fabulous.
I was hoping it would, I was trying to see if it would show like a drop down to where if you don't need to send it to everybody, but you want to send it to 2 or 3, if you could click on it, but I don't see that.
Okay.
It's either the whole troop or you can enter emails here separately.
And that feature comes in handy because I have some parents in the troop that want, both parents to get the email, but in the registration, sometimes they just have one parent. So that comes in helpful too.
Yeah, that's a good
Well,
point.
and then you can change the contact information. So if there's multiple parents who want their email and they didn't originally do that, you can change and, edit some of their contact information and add those emails as well.
Mhm.
Like within there. I think you can add it. I don't know if it's in that spot or I think it's in this one where you can add. And I wish my daughter was first because I wouldn't mind showing that. I just don't want to share other people's
Mhm.
information.
No, that's okay. We understand.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of it in
Yeah.
a nutshell. I know,
Do you want to pop over and look at GS Learn, and then we can
Sure.
kind of compare how that would complement how you would use the VTK?
So the GS Learn has any videos, information you want to learn. There's ones that you can check to see which ones you've completed, if there's any overdue. If you started one, but you haven't finished, you can access it there. There's a ton of videos for you to help with anything. Like if the fall product video, if you were the fall product manager, was on that. This year they made everybody do what was the one called? Youth protection.
Mhm.
So that's accessed on here. If you're a new Brownie leader, here's Brownie level essentials. I mean, it has so many different videos. Silver award, if you're doing bronze award, camping. I mean, even, I've been camp trained many, many years ago, but if there's stuff that I forget, I can come here and kind of look and see and watch the videos to get a refresher course. Trying to think of other important ones that they may need.
Yeah, this one's good to kind of flip through because they're always adding different ones in here. So it's kind of nice. Like I'll go in every couple of weeks and there's a whole bunch of new videos that have been layered in there, like the cookie delivery stuff is in there. I hadn't seen the not the silver award, not the gold award, but the
bronze.
Yeah, maybe it was the bronze I was thinking of. There's some award ones that are in here that I hadn't noticed before. Yeah, it's gone already in my head. But this is kind of nice too because they're actual videos, and then there's it's course material, and they're all loaded from GS USA. So they're not specific to our council. They're all Girl Scout troops are going to be able to see that, which is kind of cool.
And if the courses are some of the things that are required more, correct? Whereas the learning paths, I don't know. I was thinking the learning paths might just be for additional information.
They are, because you can take the courses for like Gold Award and Silver Award through council. But then they also have materials in here. So if you didn't take that, you could watch the the class and be able to garner the information. I think for things like you were just saying, being outdoor certified, part of the certification is the classroom work. You would need to do the classroom work here in GSS, this GS Learn, and then you'd have your in-person portion for camping and outdoor certification.
So yeah, it shows what, I guess, the learning paths are just the additional information, not necessarily required. If I want to sort it by live sessions, doesn't look like they have any.
Not right at the moment, no.
Nope. But the content library, I was trying to see if there's, oh, so this is just, I guess those are my achievements. Yay.
I know when this first came out, I did a search for, I want to say new leader, and I liked the options that came up. It was almost like a path, but they don't have that path listed. I want to say it was new leader. I can't remember if that was exactly how I wrote it, but it doesn't look like it because of what came up on your screen.
Yeah.
Maybe just do leader. There were a string of courses that it recommended, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. If I think of it, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Let's see. You know, they're listed if it's a learning path or if it's a course.
Mhm.
So, I mean, there's just a lot of different things. Unless you know what the course is, I think it's just fun and better just to kind of search it, you know, just kind of look. Let's see what some of the filters.
Because there's not a ton of stuff in there. So it wouldn't take long to be able, like you said, just to free form search through it, which is nice.
And if you see one and you're like, oh, I'm going to need that one later, you can add that to your favorites.
So you can
And
find
then
them later.
if you're wanting to look at your favorites later, I think you can sort by your favorites. And those are the ones you highlighted.
Okay.
And that way, like, you know, I know sometimes you're like, oh, maybe I might want to be, you know, might be interested in that. And you can just kind of add it to your favorites. And then that way, once you kind of go through the list, then you can look at your favorites and just have a condensed version of all of them right there. This one's kind of cool. There's different courses for each of the petals.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. All the daisy level, the petals, they don't do, they're not necessarily associated with the stories anymore of all the different girls. They're all associated with each of the lines from the Girl Scout law, which is neat. I mean, they're all intertwined. I mean, the stories were intertwined with the law as well, but they're called out by the law and not necessarily by the girl name anymore.
That was a long time ago for me.
Third year cadet. Yeah, I would say that was a few moons away, a few moons back.
So, I mean, like even, you know, mental wellness. If you have girls that are at certain ages that, you know, some of your girls are dealing with issues, this might be a course that you can take and how you can kind of help your girls. Delivering inclusive programs. If you have, you know, girls that have a variety of needs or, you know, special needs or whatever, then taking this course can not only help you help those girls, but also help you help the other girls include kids with special needs or whatever their whatever it may be.
Exactly.
Just teaching your other girls to be inclusive of all. And it doesn't even have to be special needs. It could be just anything.
It's another little great resource with just some really great training information, just to complement what you would be getting from the VTK. So pretty cool stuff.
I did figure out where that was, Crystal, if you want to go back to the home page where it says home. And then see the gray bar search line below where it says not started.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, type leader there. And those are the 6
Okay.
that
Oh.
Well, I wonder why it was showing different ones, because I think that was the content library.
maybe.
I don't know why there's two
Maybe.
different ones, but
I just liked this one because it has the VTK, so you can watch there too, but it also has
Yep.
the GSLE, like understanding what the GSLE is, and then what support is there for troop leaders. So anyway, I
that's
think this was a cool list.
neat.
yeah, if their first time, if you need support, expectation. Yeah, I think this is great.
Thank you, Alicia. Good save.
Sure.
It's another great resources.
I mean, and that's just something. Just trying to see what else. I mean, for something like this, you can always just search different things and see. Okay, so here it talks about the caregiver view, troop leader view, individually registered girl caregiver view. So if you have girls that aren't, well, I guess you wouldn't have a girl in your troop that's individually registered, but I mean, just different views of the volunteer toolkit. So we typed in leader earlier. Let's see. I mean, just type in different things. Cookie delivery day for 2022. I mean, these are all last year's, but here are some of the videos and access. If you are the cookie manager and you forget, you can always go back and look here. So yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
So
Very
any other
cool.
questions or suggestions or things that you think I need to show?
No, I think you covered it. I mean, from your perspective, Crystal, how when you use the VDK for planning meetings, how much of the content that's in there do you think you use? Do you say that you probably use maybe 75% of it and then you customize it to your girls from there, or do you use majority of it for your meetings, or very little of it? How do you customize it?
I personally use very little of it because to me it's too much. But again, that's coming from the teacher background. I don't need every little thing planned out for me. So I don't use this. I typically have my binder with the badges and I look at that and plan it from that way. With the exception of, like I said, the newer journeys. I don't have access to doing it that way. So then I look at it through here too and see what each activity is. But it really is just your own personal preference. Because like I said, people who don't have the teaching background or don't feel comfortable making lesson plans and things, this is super helpful because because it does have everything listed. I mean, even for this badge, think like an engineer. I mean, if I didn't want to teach it, edit, send speaker invitation, I can invite somebody to kind of help. Because I haven't scheduled it yet. So, I mean, I think it can be super helpful for people who need it. Me, like I said, I just personally don't. But I mean, even if you like it, but you don't, like, again, don't do every little thing. When here, look, you can change the time if you don't think it's going to take that long. If you want to plan, you think this part's going to take longer, adjust the time based on your meeting times. But I mean, what is nice is the materials. What exactly do you need? What do you need to plan ahead or prepare ahead? I mean, it has everything linked. Here's engineering notes on the Corgi vest. If you want your kids to have that. So, I mean, there's a lot of things to it. All of the materials you need. But again, me personally, it's not something that I utilize a lot of.
Okay.
Except for the journeys when, like I said, when I have to kind of go in and see what the challenges are. or what
But
the
this
activities.
is a nice resource. So if you are a leader that's in a bind, like maybe your meeting is tomorrow and you hadn't planned anything yet, you could really go in there and it's all laid out for you. You
Yep.
just may need to print up some things and then gather your supplies together,
Yep.
and then it's all ready to go for you. So that's nice as in an emergency, because we've never done that. We're always
Nope.
planning way
Yep.
ahead, and we're
Yep.
always organized, right?
Super organized, well ahead of schedule, never procrastinate.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Or like I had that once before, my co-leader had planned a meeting and then she was sick and couldn't come. So I didn't have anything planned. So I could hop in here and grab another meeting planned for something else and get that, have it ready to go. So it's nice in that regard that it's all laid out for you and it's very simple and easy to follow. But then you just need to be able to review everything, make sure, like you said, it's manageable for what kind of meeting you're doing, if your girls would enjoy it, and that kind of stuff, and that you have everything you need.
I mean, I know people who use this and, absolutely love it. Like, and like I said, I don't think it's a bad resource. It's just not something I utilize a whole lot just because it's me. I mean, it's nothing against this. And actually, it's gotten a lot better as the years have gone on. So, I mean, I know they're trying and tweaking and changing and adding and, making things easier. Because I know, and let me see if I can pull up real quick one of the other badges. That's not a journey. I know sometimes, especially now that my girls are getting older, it is sometimes hard for me because I'm like, I don't feel like I'm super knowledgeable in some of this stuff. And, the badge booklets, say teach this, but it doesn't necessarily tell you how to teach it. And so I know sometimes that can be overwhelming for some people. So, I mean, if you go to the meeting plan and you don't know how to teach it, it tells you how to teach it. Tells you what to say exactly. This is what you're going to say. This is how long it's going to take. Again, say this, and sometimes you don't. I have looked at it before for certain things because, again, if I've looked at the badge booklet and I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to teach for this. Like, I'm not an expert to, and what is this one I even opened up? I don't even know.
The outdoor art apprentice.
Yeah. I'm like, but there's some, like, even certain ones I'm like, I don't know enough about that for me to feel like I'm teaching some of these girls stuff. And so here I can say, this is what I'm saying. This is what they're doing. Next thing, this is what I have to say. After the girls do this, this is what I have to say. So, I mean, it really does break it down for you to where if you are at a loss and you look at the booklets, then this tells you exactly. Some people prefer this, and I know some people use this only and don't buy the binders with the booklets, and that's fine too. I mean, it's whatever works for you. It's whatever you feel more comfortable with. If you've bought the binder and you look at it and you can't plan your lesson, your meetings around that, and you prefer this, then give the binder to somebody else and just use this. I mean, it's really just whatever works for each individual. Some people are going to love this. Some people are going to love the binder better. It's just whatever works for y'all.
But that's what's great, is that there's lots of options. And that's the point of sharing it with y'all tonight and showing you how to navigate it. Is you don't have to use this as a resource. If you've got a system that works, that's awesome. But especially to a lot of you that are brand new, that are just starting out, and you've had a few meetings these last few months, this is a really great resource to kind of breeze through and just kind of check everything out. It gives you lots of really great ideas. Maybe there's a badge that you're kind of interested in, but you're really not sure how to approach being able to teach it or share it with your girls. This can help you with planning your meeting out. Or like Alicia said, if I'm going to invite a speaker, like what Crystal just said, if I'm going to invite a speaker to come, then I can give them the outline of what they need to achieve in that badge in order to earn the badge. So it's another really great resource to help you be able to teach your girls and share those badges with them and make it in a very approachable standpoint. And again, simplifying the process. We're all busy people. So it's another great way for us to simplify the purpose, but have a huge impact by keeping it that simple. So
Well,
good
and
stuff.
then one more thing too. I mean, again, I know some troops have the girls teach the lessons.
Mhm.
I let my girls decide if they want to do it or if they prefer me to do it. Most of them have what they wanted me to do it, but for those girls who do want to do it, but they don't know where to start, but they're wanting to
Yeah.
teach the lesson, they can start with this too, because again, it really is scripted. And so you can have the girls teaching the badge using these, and you'll know that they're hitting everything that they need to hit if they follow the script. And
Right.
it makes it easier for them too. They're getting more confidence by teaching the lesson. Hopefully they're learning more by teaching it themselves too sometimes. So, I mean, like I said, it does have a lot of positives. You just gotta have to play around with it and see what works best for you and your girls.
Very cool. Good, good, good. All right. Do we have any other questions for Crystal?
I'm gonna go ahead and stop my share.
Okay. Any other good questions for Crystal? We want to pick her brain on anything?
No questions, but just a comment. I did put links in the chat for sign-in sheet and evaluation form, since we had at least one person join.
Yay. Thank you. Appreciate
Sure.
that.
Sure.
Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Crystal. We really appreciate it. That was a really
No
good session.
problem.
Learned a ton about VTK and how we can use it. So the other things, just to make sure to, we already looked at the GSS or GS Learn and the GSSGC website. Just keep in mind, those are also some really great resources that will complement your VDK when you're planning out your troop meetings. So some really great resources for learning and growing. We went over questions. So our next new Leader Coffee Talk is going to be in December 14th. And we are going to talk about adventure beyond the meeting. My plan, my hope, my goal is that we're going to spend a majority of this meeting talking about really cool things that you can do for meetings. So whether it's an outing, whether it's a badge that you did something super creative on, if it's just something in the community that you did that ended up being really fun, just sharing a lot of really great ideas. And they don't necessarily have to be in a meeting room or at your meeting place. Maybe it's you went to a park and did something, or you went, to any other place outside with your troop and your girls. So any kind of adventure that you're going to be doing beyond the normal Girl Scout meeting. So we're going to be talking about that on December 14th from 7 to 8. We're going to be doing it here in Zoom. And again, we'll be posting a recording of that. So if you miss it, you can always get caught up. But we'll talk about girl and adult ratios, forms that you would need for field trips, the travel progression, because that's really important, especially for the little ones, of how to move up to do overnights and major trips. Local field trips, just kind of tips and tricks of things to learn. And then getting your girls outdoors and upcoming camping events that are happening in the spring. And also, like I said, we're going to spend a lot of time just talking about really cool things that you can do with your girls. So a really great brainstorming session to get some good information. I also wanted to highlight too, coming up in the next week. Next week, I'm going to be posting another coffee break memo. And this one is going to focus on the special interest groups that are available through our council. There's lots of different ones that involve dance, robotics, canoeing, backpacking, archery. There's all kinds of really cool special interest groups available. So this is a great way to get them all together on maybe a page or two memo, and also of who you can contact if you're interested to get some more information. Miss Alicia is also hosting another buzz session coming up here at the end of the month. It's going to be November 28th. And it's going to be focusing on holidays and ceremonies. Was there anything you wanted to add about your buzz session, Miss Alicia?
Just we're going to be interactive and actually playing out a few ceremonies. So maybe some different ones that you haven't done before.
Fun. Well, that'll be a good time. So check that out. It's going to check out on Facebook for the invitation, but it's on November 28th, I believe at 7 p.m. Is that right?
Yes, that's
7
it. 7
p.m.
p.m.
Perfect. So you can check that out on Facebook as well. So I wanted to thank everybody for coming. Thank you again, Crystal, so much for coming this evening. we are going to go ahead and close everything out. And again, once again, we want to say thank you, thank you, thank you so much for saying yes and being a troop leader and impacting your girls' lives. We could not do any of this without you. We really appreciate you. If there's anything you need, feel free to reach out to any of us on the community leadership team. We're here to help and support you. Y'all have a wonderful night. See you
Just
later.
one quick
Oh,
question.
sure, go
How
right
do
ahead,
you-
Miss Janet.
How can I go back and watch this recording?
It's an excellent question. I'm going to post the recording link on the Facebook group for Blossom Creek, probably later tonight or tomorrow. And then all you have to do is it'll be like a YouTube link and you can just watch it on YouTube.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
And
Y'all
thank-
have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much.
Good
Okay,
night.
thank you.
Bye.
Good night. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.